Hello and welcome to another reading vlog. So this week we are going to be reading some romantic comedies slash contemporaries. I don't know. I guess they're technically, I don't know if they're considered all romantic comedies. I'm counting them, whatever. Point is, we're reading some romance books, some contemporary modern romance books, specifically some new releases as well as an upcoming release, and I am so excited. All of these are like sequels to books that I have already read and loved, so I cannot wait to dive right into them. Let's talk about the books I'm going to be reading this week. So the first book, which I'm already 50% of the way through, so I will talk about my thoughts in a moment. This is an upcoming release of one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and that is All the Feels by Olivia Dade. This is the sequel to Spoiler Alert. So this book actually comes out on October 27th, so I think in a week after I post this vlog, something like that. I am already halfway through because I was like, I'll just start it last night. And I couldn't put it down because it's so good. I will get more into my thoughts and things in a moment after I talk about the other books that I'm going to be reading. But this is for sure my first book that I'm reading, obviously, because I've already read a lot of it. The next book is a book that has already come out, and that is A Lot Like Adios by Alexis Daria. This is the sequel to You Had Me at Hola. You Had Me at Hola was a lot of fun. It was about two telenovela actors, and it was so good, so cute. I really enjoyed Alexis Daria's writing, and so I'm excited to read this one. Do I know what this one is about? Not really. It looks like it's an old time friends to lover, not an old past friends to lovers, second chance romance, something like that, which I'm very excited about. I genuinely can't remember if any of these characters were in You Had Me at Hola because I read that book a while ago. And I have a terrible memory. No thoughts. Head just empty. So yeah, I'm excited to read this because I remember just really loving her writing. And it sounds like a good time. Can't wait. The final book I'm planning on reading this week is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. The Kiss Quotient was one of my first adult romance books that I read. May have been Red, White, and Royal Blue. One of those two, and it's what really kind of sold me on the romance genre. I was like, oh, I love this. And I also really enjoyed The Bride Test. I am so excited to read The Heart Principle. I already am in love with Huang from previous books. I just think he is such a fantastic character. And from what I've heard of this book, and from going to a Zoom interview thingy with Helen Huang, this one's going to be very emotional, which all of her books tend to have a lot of heart in them, which is what I am really drawn to. I love the emotional type stuff. So I'm really, really excited to read this. Also, the bookstore that I work with ran a whole pre-order campaign where if you ordered through our store, Helen came in and signed a ton of books. She signed how many? Over 1,500. So I am very familiar with the cover of this book because I had to help do a lot around it, print out order forms, things like that, which was fun for my first week working at the store. And also we got cute little art prints, which seeing this art print, I'm just I'm already in love. And a little sticker pack, which is super cute. Again, I can't wait to read this. I'm so excited to just read these very fun, sweet, heartfelt romance books. With that, let's talk about All the Feels. So, as I mentioned before, All the Feels is the sequel to Spoiler Alert, one of my all-time favorite books this year for so many reasons. I love Olivia Dade's writing. I've now read 4 of her books. I read a couple of her backlisted books as well. I just absolutely love the way that she writes her characters. If y'all have seen any of my vlogs previously, anything about me talking about books ever, I am a character reader. If I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the book. Plot is fine. If there's a plot, that's great. I want something compelling, but I really care about the characters. So, thoughts so far, where we are at the end of the 50% mark is basically the end of spoiler alert. So the two timelines kind of overlap because in spoiler alert, we have April and Marcus who are in like San Francisco. In this one, we have Alex and Lauren. Alex is one of the stars of a very popular show called Gods of the Gates. Yeah, Gods of the Gates. It's basically like a Greek mythology Game of Thrones. There's definitely some references to Game of Thrones, and the writers of the show kind of doing some characters dirty. So there's definitely some fun commentary on that. Alex is known as being kind of reckless and doing things that could result in bad publicity for the show. His latest thing, he got into a bar fight. So one of the showrunners has assigned him a minder, someone to basically accompany him everywhere and make sure he doesn't get into trouble, which is Lauren. Lauren is kind of known as being a little bit of a stick in the mud by people around her, but she is a very caring, kind soul who will do everything and anything for people. She just cares about people. She was a former ER therapist, but she got burnt out by how much she just couldn't help. So she got burned out, quit her job. Then her cousin, Ron, the showrunner, asked her to look after Alex, and she can't say no to family, even when they're a bit of a dick. So the entire first half of this book is so much fun, playful banter, and these characters. So it's a very slow burn. I will say that because, again, 50% of the way through, and it's slow burn, y'all. Alex is definitely like hardcore simp. Oh my god, he cares so much. I love the way he gets angry at Lauren for not prioritizing herself. That's a man. Oh god, I'm in love with this guy. My favorite thing is also just how clueless the other, so how clueless Alex is and how clueless Lauren is of the other's feelings towards each other, because they very clearly have feelings. They very clearly are attracted and care deeply about each other. This book is very much about just caring, which I'm loving. I have cried several times already, which is fine. It's got me emotional. Yeah, I already have several parts highlighted, not in this copy because this is technically my store's copy, but I also got a copy off of NetGalley, so thank you NetGalley. Also thank you The Ripped Bodice for giving me this proof. I love my new job. Anyway, I am definitely going to finish this today. I have the day off. I'm just going to be running some errands. I'm going to finish this book. I also have some other fun things planned that I might take y'all along on with. So with that, it was a very long intro. Let's get into it. I just wanted to check in because this is just so cute. My favorite form of flirting, which of course is just, you know, some light bullying of each other, all in good fun. They're so cute and I'm obsessed with this. And I'm scared what the like third act drama is gonna end up being, because there's always third act drama. That'll break them apart before they get back together and they'll live happily ever after. So I'm nervous because I know that's coming up soon, because it's like, it always happens. I'm gonna finish this now.
Monique is competitive now. Y'all think it's me, but it's really Monique.
Yeah, Roomie versus Roomie over there. Who do we think is gonna win?
I think Mo is gonna win.
Mo kind of killed it at the last one. You got this. I believe in you. Hi, so last night I had so much fun finally getting to meet Christine and Mo from the Roomies Digest and Nicole from Bon Bon Reads. It's so cool getting to meet these friends that I've made on the internet in real life. Like, what, just a great time. I also, before I did go to meet up with them in LA, I finished All the Feels, and y'all, this book wrecked me. It wrecked me so hard. All right, so let's talk about this book, because I might even like it more than, spoiler alert. There's definitely some like differences and things that I liked about one more than the other, things like that. With this one, this is definitely a lot more slow burn than in spoiler alert. Like, I was well past the 50% mark before like things started to heat up between the two, but I feel like it definitely worked with their relationship because they knew each other more in a working capacity before a like friendship capacity. I loved their relationship. I think I mentioned it in my last update where they had my favorite kind of flirting of, light consensual bullying. Always a good time. They just, were able to tease each other, but in a way where it wasn't like they were poking fun at or punching down or anything like that. It was very much like haha, here's this thing that you're aware of that you do. And in a way, it kind of like encouraged them to be better. I was very nervous about that, third act drama that just always happens in romance books. It's inevitable. There's going to be something that breaks them apart so that they can get back together in the end. I think that it was really well handled because they addressed a lot of the things and the problems that caused them to break up. Again, problem that I have sometimes in romances is they try to like look past the problem instead of like fully addressing the problem. I think Alex is such a great protagonist. He is just so fun and flirty, and the two of them, Alex and Lauren, they have such a great balance to each other, and they, bring out the best in each other, which is all that you can really ask for in something like this. I'm so happy that I loved it, because I was nervous, when you really like one book by an author, it's like, ooh, what if I don't like their next book as much? I was very pleased with how much I loved this book. So, since I have finished all the feels, I am moving on to one of my other books, and I have decided I am going to pick up The Heart Principle by Helen Huang next. So this book follows Quan, who is cousins to Michael from the first book of The Kiss Quotient, and the older brother of Kai from The Bride Test, which is Helen Huang's second book in this series. He is kind of like known as being kind of like the bad boy. He rides a motorcycle. He has tattoos. I already just really love him from what we've read of him in the like past books. I love how like he has that kind of hard outer shell but is super soft and also pretty goofy. I do love the goofy love interest. I think they're just so much fun. So I am going to get started on this one, and I will check in with you later. Hi, so I am 50% of the way into The Heart Principle, and I had to physically stop myself because this is just such a compelling read. So I can now give an actual synopsis for this one, because before I definitely was like, I know it's about Quan. Don't really know much more about it. So this follows Quan, who is Kai's brother from The Bride Test, and also Michael from The Kiss Quotient, his cousin / business partner, because they have, I feel like this is kind of a spoiler alert for The Kiss Quotient. I will put a little thing, and when no more spoilers, then you can skip to that part. Yeah, so he is Michael's business partner. They have created a clothing brand company, which is super cool. I love that for them. Juan recently had surgery due to cancer, and so he is feeling kind of self-conscious. He's always been kind of the strong one of the family, and so to have that kind of strength taken away from him where people are caring for him, he is feeling very vulnerable at the moment and hasn't like gone out dating or anything since then. And then we have Anna, whose longtime boyfriend has just said that he wants to have a bit of an open relationship and see what else is out there before finally settling down. Like, the absolute audacity of this man. She also is struggling because she is a musician who recently came into some like internet fame and had a composer write a song for her to play. She's a violinist. And she is struggling where every single time that she doesn't get a certain part correct, she goes all the way back to the beginning. So she's just been in this endless loop of trying to play music, and she just cannot seem to live up to the perfection that she has in her mind. She meets Quan on a dating app after she says that she's gonna have some one night stands, because if her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend type dude can sleep around, so can she. But of course, her and Quan have an instant connection, and y'all, the connection is there. I am so far loving their relationship, where we are at. They're really trying to like feel each other out. They both have a lot of like insecurities and things that they are majorly working through, but I love kind of the comfort that they are finding in each other, and the way that they are able to open up and be vulnerable with each other that they aren't able to with other people. This one is definitely way more emotional than the other Helen Huang books. Her other ones are emotional, like they definitely have some like really deep, meaningful moments, but this one, for sure, whew, it's a lot. I also want to say that I feel like the synopsis on the back of the book gives away something that I feel like shouldn't be, like, I feel like it's a spoiler, and I hate when synopses do that. I would have really liked to go into it not knowing that this one thing would happen. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. You're welcome. So far, I am just really liking the dynamic, and while there obviously is the romance and the connection between her and Quan, that's not like kind of the central focus of this book. So far, what I'm feeling is it's very much like a like an adult coming of age book. You know, those YA coming of age books, but for an adult. And I think that's really cool. I can definitely see this becoming a lot more emotional, especially I can see the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. I don't really know what to refer to him, because I guess they're technically still together, I guess, maybe. Him being a problem. That's where I'm at right now with this. Just here to say, I am barely holding it together emotionally. This one's a lot. This one is a lot. Anna's family is the actual worst, and wow, just a lot of wow. I know things are gonna be fine. I know things are gonna work out, but I'm very scared about what's going to happen in the meantime, and I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for that. So that's where I'm at right now. Hi, so I have finished The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, and I am still emotional about it. I want to say first that like all three of these books have gotten more and more like emotional and less kind of focused on the romance. Like there's romance in there, the romance is there, and it's really great, but it's not really about the romance, especially this one. And in her author's note, she talks a lot about how it is half romance book, also half kind of memoir of like certain things that she was going through in her life when she wrote this book. Something that I was thinking when I like was towards the end was that the pacing of the ending was really strange and very different from the rest of the book. It was still very good and like very emotionally connected, but it was just like but it was a lot of like rapid 2-page paragraphs, which was just strange and not really the norm in romance books. Thinking of it as more of like a memoir type thing definitely makes more sense for this one. I would say that it was like kind of predictable, the like overall arc of the story and the plot and everything. Like I knew what was going to happen. I knew what the third act drama was going to be. I knew like how it was going to really resolve itself, TBH. But in the end, I didn't really mind because of how like emotionally connected it was. I could not stop like crying after like one of the chapters towards the end. I was just like, this is too much. I need to take a quick pause. But then I just finished it because I could not put it down. I needed to know how the story resolved itself. Pacing was weird. And it was very interesting because, and I didn't really realize it until that ending with the pacing and everything, that this is written in first person versus all of her other books, which are written in third person. That definitely was different. First person isn't necessarily my favorite, but it also wasn't bad. I don't really know how to describe it. It was good. It was very, very good. It also, there were just certain things that like I tend not to really go for, and I tend to like things a little bit different in my books. Also, again, I was kind of expecting more rom-com style, even if it is more emotional. This one did not have that, which is fine. That's totally fine. Just wasn't what I was expecting. So with that, I have already moved on to my final book of this reading vlog, which is A Lot Like Adios by Alexis Daria. I'm about 90 pages in, and I'm already loving it. So far this is definitely the spiciest of the three that we've read so far. First one was very slow burn. Second one was a lot more emotional. This one, we're here for the spice. A Lot Like Adios is about two childhood best friends who had a falling out their senior year of high school when the two of them finally started to kind of admit their feelings for each other. And then Gabe, our main guy, he, without telling her, was going to move to Los Angeles for college, and they had a complete falling out and haven't spoken since. Gabe's business partner reaches out to Michelle, our main girl, without knowing that it's her, to help them with the marketing of an opening of a new gym in New York, their hometown. So this has a lot of like reconnecting and a lot of like, we need closure, we used to be best friends, and also confronting those feelings that they might still have for each other, as well as Gabe trying to reconcile with his family because he has not spoken to his family for like 9 years. Well, his parents for 9 years. So far, already loving it. I love the two of them. This one is the guy falling first already. It's like not a spoiler. He's already like in love with her within the first chapter. So yeah, I'm very excited to get further into this. So when I get to that 50% mark, I will be checking in. Hi, so I am currently in the middle of reading sprints with the Roomies Digest and also Amanda from Ginger Snap Reads. Lots of fun. Haven't done reading sprints in a while, but I wanted to check in because I'm over 50% of the way through A Lot Like Adios, and I am freaking obsessed with this book. So far we have like the estranged friends thing going on, turning into friends with benefits. It is spicy. It is fun. We also have like the family dynamic thing going on in this as well, which I am again just loving. I really like the books where our characters already have some sort of like history with each other. I love seeing relationships build up and see them grow and see them have that like meet cute for the first time and see them go from strangers to, lovers. But there is something so sweet about already getting past that like getting to know each other stage where we can just jump right into their story. So that definitely has this. I'm already liking this so much more than the first one. I really liked the first one. It definitely wasn't bad. It just wasn't like my favorite. And now I'm like definitely loving this and their relationship and their chemistry. I love how soft Gabe is and how much he like genuinely cares for Mish, and I love their like banter with each other, how they're able to so quickly fall into their old ways and their old dynamic. So I am loving this. I am going to get back into sprinting and reading this. I'm hoping to finish this tonight, so I'll let y'all know how that goes. Hi, so I finished A Lot Like Adios during reading sprints, which success. Love a good successful reading sprint, because sometimes we just end up on TikTok all the entire sprint. Those aren't quite so successful, but I read the ending and I am so happy because this was the rom-com I was waiting for. The other two books in this vlog definitely are not as much in the romantic comedy territory. All the Feels definitely had its like rom-com moments woven in there, but it definitely was on the more emotional side. And then Our Principal, that was all emotion. That was not rom-com. This one was a rom-com with the emotions woven in, which I dig. It had like the family drama that Gabe was going through, as well as Michelle working through her emotions and her feelings for Gabe and like what she's trying to do with her life, because she had quit her job before this and was freelancing and was trying to figure out what she wanted to do from there. I really enjoyed Gabe and Michelle's relationship. I mentioned before that I love when we have a previously established relationship. This one, it felt so realistic because they already knew each other and they already had history together. I really liked that both of the characters ended up in a very different place than they were at the beginning of the book, but they never kind of changed what they wanted out of life. They just kind of realized what they wanted. More so, they were very much like still figuring things out at the beginning. I also will say that you definitely don't have to have read You Had Me at Ola to understand this one at all. You see some appearances of the characters from the previous book, but like you don't need it for as much of the backstory. I feel like sometimes with the like companion novels, you don't have to have read the other book, but it is really nice because you get that backstory. This one, you don't really need it. So much of the backstory is within the actual plot of the book. I totally almost forgot to mention a really fun subplot in this book is that Michelle and Gabe, when they were younger, used to write fan fiction together. So I think that that's just really fun because with the first book of this vlog, All the Feels, that is all about fan fiction, and this has some really fun commentary about like fan fiction, fan culture, and also representation in media and science fiction especially. Yeah, so that was something really unexpected that I didn't know was going to make an appearance, although that makes sense because the first book definitely had conversations around representation in media, so like, but that was really unexpected and cool that there was a through line between All the Feels and this one as well of fan fiction. Gotta love some fan fiction. So there we are, finished my third rom-com, well, finished one rom-com and two emotional books that just made me cry. So that's fun. Thank you so much for joining me in this not quite a rom-com reading vlog. I had a lot of fun. I definitely have missed kind of the contemporary romances because I've been on such a historical romance kick. This was a really good dive back into the contemporary romance world. So I am loving that. If you have read any of these three books, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I love to hear it. Or if you have another rom-com type book that you would normally recommend, go ahead and leave those down below. I am always looking for new recommendations. With that, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, bye!